What do you love? Now, this might seem like a really strange question. You might love chocolate, but this is about something deeper. I'm going to tell you a little story which will explain the question, and then I'll come back and ask you the question again. So, I have a neighbour in my village who has, her and husband have been renting a house and they've got into a little bit of difficulty and they have to go back to their home country. And she was explaining to me that in the time that they have been married, that life has gone up and down, and just when they thought it was good, then it would come down again. And she was feeling very depressed and she didn't know how they were going to start again. Like I said, they have to go back to their home country. They've got to camp at his daughter's house. He's been living in his van for the last couple of weeks trying to sort things out. And she's very, very low. So I was talking to her yesterday. I got my three dogs on leads who were dying to get going for a walk. And, she'd been explaining to me about all the things that had gone on and how she was feeling. And I was explaining how I had come to Spain, the reasons of how I came here, what it was like for me. Not much fun, about my spine fracturing. So I was telling her some stories, and I was trying to encourage her that we can always start again. There's always hope, and we just have to, hang on to that hope, but take action, do some things that help us to once again find purpose and meaning. And I know that at the time when everything is feeling really, really crap, that's quite hard to do. But I know because I've been there, I've had those horrible experiences. I've started my life again, I don't know how many times. Anyway, cut to the chase. So I asked her this simple question: what do you love to do? And she said, 1 minute, 1 minute. And she rushed back into her house and she came out with the most beautiful painting. I was like, wow. And she said, I started painting to keep me calm because I've been feeling depressed. And I said, you can start again. And she's looking at me like I'm some kind of crazed creature. And I said, you could paint, and then you could find someone to help you take photos of your paintings. You could, and I suggested a site called Redbubble. There's lots of different sites. You could turn your paintings into other canvases, framed prints, into greetings cards, and all sorts of things, and then sell them via Facebook or something like that. Her smile was just so beautiful. So all of a sudden, she could see that after all these things that had gone on, she could take something that she had started for very personal reasons and perhaps use it to then start again. So what I'm saying is when we find ourselves in these really, really awful places, it is not the end of the world. Just explore, what is it that you love? Now, I know what I do. I love writing. I like getting ideas, sitting there and letting the ideas filter and thinking, how could I turn that into a book or an ebook or a course? I love creating things. And so when I'm not in a great place, I create. And then that stuff sometimes sits on my drive. I confess, for years and years and years. But eventually I'll find it and think, that is now the right time to take it and turn it into a course, or that is the right time to develop that into a book. Just ask the question and explore. Now, the great thing about passion projects in terms of finding purpose and meaning again is it's about experimentation. So you might decide that you would like to paint. I know during the pandemic I joined an online painting group. I was rubbish. I painted mandalas. I did all the chakra mandalas, and I did a woman as the tree of life, and I look at the things and I think they're okay and I enjoy doing it. I can't see me taking it any further or anyone even wanting to buy it. But at the time, it served a purpose. It gave me a sense of purpose and meaning. You know, my mum is an amazing artist, and I look at her work and I'm like, maybe not, I'll stick to writing. You might find that you are great at pencil sketching and you love animals like dogs and cats. I mean, I've got 3 dogs. My mum paints my dog pictures for me, but imagine all the people who would love to have their beautiful, beautiful pets captured in pencil or acrylic or something like that. You know, flower arranging, making personalized greeting cards. You know, if you can write amusing poetry, what about poetry for weddings and things? I mean, just it's playtime. Go back to when you were a little kid. I might not, because I used to hang around in just my pants and wellies, but I was always creative, always doing things. But go back to that fun, that play that used to exist inside of you. Dig deep. So I'm going to ask that question again. What do you love to do? So my invitation, as I said, is to play, to experiment, and to see where it takes you. And it doesn't have to be the next thing that's going to save humanity, although we could do with a bit of saving of humanity. It could just be something that puts you back on track and helps you find your purpose and meaning again. So lots of love from me. And don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time.